What's up, students? We're so glad that you're back this week. And if you are a first-time visitor to this small group, I want you to know we are so excited that you're there. And we hope that you'll connect with your leaders and those in the small group, and that you'll come back next week and just start to do life with this group of people. But this week, we're picking up in week 2 of this series we're calling Measure Up. And we're talking about what it looks like in our life when we decide to compare ourselves to those around us. And last week we talked about when we compare ourselves to those beside us, we ultimately lose. And I think we need to talk about this week, how in the world do you and I go through life, go through junior high, go through high school, and fight the temptation to compare, right? Everywhere you look, people are posting things about what's going on in their life, who they're dating, what they're eating. So how in the world do we fight this temptation? And I think it's really can be asked a different way. Who or what am I going to look to tell me if I measure up? And think about this, students. You can also say this. Who or what is your mirror? Think about it. Just about every single one of you this morning, at some point, you looked in the mirror, right? And when you look in the mirror, you're really deciding in that moment if you measure up to what you're looking for, right? Most of you know the look you're going for, you know how your hair is supposed to be, you know what you're comfortable walking out of the house looking like. And so when you look in the mirror, you're having this moment where you decide, okay, am I hitting the mark? Do I look the way I want to? Am I hitting this image that I want to portray? And you have this moment where you decide, am I measuring up? And so many of you probably know that one person who you're like, they probably don't have a mirror anywhere in their house because I don't know what's going on there. Listen, that was very much me this summer in Kenya. For about an entire week, I did not have a mirror anywhere. And so every day I would think, I have no idea what I look like. I don't know what my hair's doing. I don't know if I'm measuring up right now to what I'm going for, but I'm in Africa, so oh well. But think about it. Who or what is your mirror in life? Who are you looking towards to say, am I being successful? Am I measuring up? And for some of you, maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's one of your parents that you're looking to, or a coach or a teacher, and you're just wanting to hear them say, you're doing well, or you're hitting the mark. Or maybe for you, it's a group of people. Maybe you're looking for this one group at school, this club, this organization to say you're in. Some of you right now may be even waiting to hear back from some colleges, and you're waiting for them to send you a letter that says, you measured up, you compared, you're in. And so I want you to see, students, that each of us deals with this. This is not something that only you deal with, all of us do. But I also want you to know that the Bible has some wisdom and just a couple of things to say that I think apply to you and I today. And what I want to read to you is written by a guy named Paul. He was really just an early church leader, had great wisdom, and he wrote most of the New Testament that you see in your Bible. And some of the things we're going to read today, he was writing to a church and to a group of people who were dealing with the same things that you and I are dealing with today. And here's what he said. But when the set time had fully come, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law, that we might receive adoption to sonship. And in that moment, this is what Paul is saying. He's saying from birth, from the moment that you were born, there was a divide and a disconnect between you and your Creator. And I want you to know that this is every person. Every person has this. Every person has this disconnect in their life and this messy background that even though you may not see in the exterior, is there. Every person that you look to on social media, even if they appear to have their life together and they have the perfect life, I want to encourage you, students, that every one of us has a mess, and every one of us has this need for a God to come in and fill this void in our life. And God in this moment, and Paul in this moment, is saying that the only way to fix this is not by achieving something. It's not by gaining fame or popularity or hitting this number on social media. He says the only way to fix it is through God. And so in this moment, Paul is writing to say, God came to fix this disconnect that each of us feel. Paul will go on the next verse to say this. He will say, because you are his sons and daughters, God sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, the Spirit who cries out, Abba, Father. And so God is saying in this moment, I came back to fix what had been broken. And now, because of that, those who decide to follow me can call me Abba, Father. And he talks about them being adopted as sons and daughters. And that's a lot of language, and that's a lot of words that may be a little difficult to understand, but here's what God is saying in that moment. I came back for you. And God is saying, I came to redeem you. I came to fix what had been broken. And he says, I'm giving you, and he uses the word adoption. What he's saying in this moment is he's saying, God came to make you a son and a daughter. And he says he's given you a spirit, those who are following Jesus and following God, a spirit that calls out, Abba, Father. And that phrase, Abba, Father, obviously Abba is not translated. And what that phrase means, it's really this intimate phrase that really means dad. And what I want you to see, students, is that God in this moment is saying, I came back for you. And he says that those who decide to follow me, he says, I want you to call me dad. And that idea was so crazy in the days that Paul was writing this. It's crazy even today, because so many of these people thought, okay, well, God is like this really big God, and he's really distant, and he lives way up there, and we're all the way down here. And in this moment, God is saying, I want you to call me dad. And so think about this, students. Have you ever seen a baby that kind of wasn't cute? Right? I mean, we can call it that. But have you ever heard a parent, babies look weird, when they're new. But have you ever heard a parent hold their baby and say, man, I really wish my baby was more like that other one. Or I really wish my baby was more photogenic. Or I really wish my baby was more popular. I don't know. And this idea is so silly, but I want you to see that parents aren't built that way. Most parents just love the child that they're given. And so I want you to see this. How much more does God see you? And think about this, students. Next time you're tempted to compare, and next time you're tempted to think, I really wish I was just more like that. I really wish I was just as smart as blank. I really wish I was as cute as blank. I really wish I was as popular as blank. I want you to think about this. How does God see you? God said, I want you to call me dad. I have come to fix what was broken. And because of that, this is how I see you. And so when you're tempted to compare, this is what I want you to see. There's no win in comparison. And so who or what your mirror is should really be how God sees you. And students, I think some of you really need to let go of these people and these comparisons you're trying to make and think, how does God, the creator of everything, see me? And this is what he says, that you are a son, that you are a daughter, regardless of what your earthly mother and father have done, regardless of how your earthly parents may have let you down, God says, this is what I think. This is who you are. What does this mean for you tomorrow? What does this mean for your life? That the God who created everything you see and even the things you don't see wants to have a relationship with you. And he wants you to call him dad. And he said, I came back for you, and I came back to fix what had been broken. And so students, what would tomorrow look like if you woke up and said, I'm going to let go of these comparisons, I'm going to let go of looking to these other mirrors, and I'm going to compare myself against who God says I am. What's up, students? We just have a couple things for you before you head to small group. And the first is that junior high retreat is right around the corner. And so signups have already started. And so if you are in 7th or 8th grade, you are not going to want to miss this retreat. We're doing the same thing we did for camp, which means we're planning all of it ourselves. We get to do whatever we want to do. And so it's going to be so much fun and you're not going to want to miss. And so if you are in 7th or 8th grade, make sure you sign up and you tell your parents that you want to come. You can sign up on our Instagram bio. You can sign up on our website, on our Facebook. There's so many ways. So just make sure you don't forget this November retreat. And then last thing, students, this is for all of you. This coming Sunday, October 8th, we are going to open the student patio for the first time. And so the space in the church, behind the church by the pool that we've been hanging out all summer, that is officially your space. And you're going to see some changes that will be continually made to it, but that is for you. And so this Sunday, before the 9:30 service and before the 11:11 service, we're going to be out there with breakfast tacos for free for you. And so you are not going to want to miss this. And so we want to see all of our students, all of you, come this Sunday, eat some tacos with us, and then we're going to head into the service together, and we're going to sit together. And I think it's going to be the most exciting Sunday yet, because when you all come and sit in church together, it changes the dynamic of our church. And so I'm so excited to just hang out this Sunday, eat some breakfast tacos together. We'll see you there.